of Bobby Labonte, as he has moved to 8th position.
And Mark Martin got by Wally Dallenbach with ease, didn't he, Ned? Yeah, he did. He just went right on there. Wally didn't fight him too hard. Once he saw Mark was coming up and how strong he was, so he let him move right on around. And that puts Mark, what, up in 5th position now?
I believe that's right, Ned. Yep.
And Jeff Bodine goes back. He's made his pit stop. He's back on the racetrack. And here comes Earnhardt by the start-finish line, so he's safely in the lead lap.
Kyle Petty is 3rd. In 4th position is Sterling Marlin. And in 5th is Mark Martin. Then comes Wally Dallenbach, Harry Gant, and Bobby Labonte. We'll be right back. This event is the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race. There's the overhead shot, and there is the interval between the first 2 cars, 1.16 seconds, and the top 5 separated by just a little over 16 seconds. Dale Earnhardt is your leader. There he is, just ahead of Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty, not too far behind in 3rd. After some problems at the beginning of the race, he has fought back gallantly to be a contender for his 2nd victory in a row here at the Glen. Jerry?
Absolutely incredible, Bob. You know, the engine was skipping early on. They brought it in, changed the spark plugs, changed the coil, changed the ignition. Robin Pemberton told me they lost the ignition box yesterday in the final practice session. He said, whatever we've done, we fixed it. We don't know how, but we fixed it. He said, if this car gets any better, we're not going to be able to stand it. Right now, it's back to 100% and showing it on the racetrack.
The mellow yellow Pontiac running 3rd. The DuPont Chevrolet, driven by Jeff Gordon, is on pit road. And Dorsey, the last time by us, it was smoking pretty bad.
Yeah, he came out of that last corner up there, turn 7, came on straight over. We saw a lot of smoke come out. He pulled off line, so he's got a problem for sure. He got out of line and got out of the way so everybody could go by.
Leading rookie contender, Jeff Gordon. Here is the leading veteran contender for the Winston Cup Points Championship, Dale Earnhardt. And the 24 car of Jeff Gordon is being pushed behind the wall and back to the garage area as we present a Napa Field summary. How they were running last lap. We're inside Tom Kendall's Family Channel Ford as he is following the cars running up front. Right behind Rusty Wallace.
You see Tommy Kendall put his hand up instead of the rearview mirror so we can see who's behind him, because these cars have a lot of vibration. Sometimes it vibrates so badly you can't tell who's in your rearview mirror. He wanted to be sure he knew who was back there. As we see the leaders come off of turn 7 there, guys, Mark Martin has just moved into 4th place, and I've been clocking him. He has been gaining over a second a lap on Dale Earnhardt, but unfortunately, he was about 15 seconds behind when I started clocking.
Got a lot of ground to make up, but the car's running well.
Well, unofficially, by me right here is at 14.2 seconds behind, so he's picked up a good second and a half, just like you said, man.
The car is really running. Without, as we talked earlier, without the benefit of a caution, there's just no way that he can catch him. But remember, everybody's got to make a pit stop again.
All except Jeff Bodine.
Yep.
And Mark Martin eligible for $98,900 in Unocal bonus money. It has not been claimed since Bristol in the spring by Rusty Wallace, and so he could tack on another almost $100,000 to his winning purse if he can pull out a victory.
He probably would make that one of the highest paying road races in history.
Yeah.
Not too shabby, 100 grand.
No, sir.
In front of him. The only problem is there's too much racetrack in front of him. Here we see our leader, Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet. There's a 2nd place car, Rusty Wallace, and we see 3rd, Kyle Petty. That's a lap car, and I think is that Mark Martin just coming by the start-finish line?
Yeah, it is. You know, one thing I've noticed on these cars, when you watch Earnhardt and you watch Rusty's car, they're leaning a lot in the corners. Mark's car is flat, and it is really quick.
The 44 car, Rick Wilson, is in 13th position.
But he came out of the inner loop, Bob, just a moment ago and just went slow, moving on the high side of the racetrack. Let a lot of cars pass him. Don't know what went wrong, if something went wrong with the transmission or just what. It appears the engine is running okay, but as you can see, he's going much slower than he should be.
See if he comes into the pit area. Nope, he elects to stay out there.
Probably a transmission problem. He's probably hung up in a gear, whatever that gear might be, and maybe it's just going to ride it out.
You know, there's a lot of transmission problems today. There's a lot of cars having problems. And I talked to some of the transmission specialists, and they tell me that the cars have so much horsepower that the transmissions are right on the verge of being not good enough. If they find any more horsepower, we'll see even more transmission problems because these guys are developing horsepower every day, and they've gotten the transmission to the point they just won't take it.
To the left of your screen, we see Todd Bodine coming into the pit area. That car moving very slowly around the racetrack, and we didn't know whether he was going to make it or not, but he did. In the meantime, the 28 car of Lake Speed is back in competition.
And the 21 car, there he comes. There's the 21 car with no front end on his car right in front of the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Earnhardt laps Morgan Shepherd, who crashed earlier in the event. Earnhardt is your leader. We'll be right back. Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Dorsey Schrader, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back with you at Watkins Glen International for the Bud at the Glen. There's a second place car of Rusty Wallace, and just ahead of him is the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Looks like Rusty's losing some ground, Ned.
Yeah, he is losing ground. There's no question about it. Meanwhile, Mark Martin is gaining ground. He has cut that lead Earnhardt has down to a little under 11 seconds, according to my stopwatch. And he continues to gain on Kyle Petty. You see Kyle right there, and there's Mark Martin coming up on him.
And we understand that Kyle Petty will be coming in for a pit stop, Jerry?
That's exactly right, Bob. Everyone has to make one more stop with the exception of Jeff Bodine, as we've documented. Kyle said, hey, the leaders are pulling away from him, and behind him, Mark Martin is catching him. So he has no choice but to come in and change all four tires. And the car number 98 has had problems up with the loop. He's been off the course and now back on. That's Derek Cope in the Bojangle 40 is back on the course. As we are waiting now for Kyle Petty at 35 miles per hour. It looks like it's an eternity to get down pit road, and now Robin Pemberton and the crew have got to go to work and change all four tires. Right side lug nuts coming off. Kyle waving for water in the car. Left side lug nuts being taken off. They're getting the car completely full of fuel. Felix Savada standing over, surveying the action. Now left side tires going on. One can of fuel in, second can going in. Kyle puts it back in first gear and pulls away in what would be his final pit stop of the day.
There are 19 laps to go. 71 have been completed, and Kyle Petty now can go the rest of the race. Derek Cope did spin out in the inner loop area. And here's how it happened, Ned, up by you.
Yeah, he comes in there. It looked like he came in a little bit hot, trying to get the car down on the grass. Had the left wheels on the grass. Lost the back end. He went around. He tries to correct it. Sees he isn't going to be able to do it, so he just spins it on around and sort of out of harm's way. He didn't hit anything other than just going over the dribble strips down on the inside.
Hey, Jerry, why are the guys changing the inside tires today the first? Why are they doing that first? You know, normally they go around, change the outside tires, come back and change the inside tires. Why have they reversed it here on a road course?
Well, Benny, it looks like what's happening here is that the conditions are so tight in the pits here, it's actually safer for the guys to come across the wall, and probably even quicker to change the right side tires first. And the other reason might be is that you want to be able to get the car full of fuel. They're fueling the car from the right side here, and of course that could make a difference. But while traffic is on pit road and it's very congested, it might be easier to stay on this side of the car first and then go to the opposite side.
With Kyle Petty's pit stop, of course, Mark Martin is now in third position. There's first and second. And here comes Mark around corner number 5 and headed down the straightaway to corner number 6.
And he has cut that lead to less than 10 seconds when he went by here the last time, Bob. So no question for what Mark Martin has the fastest car on the racetrack. But that's a lot of distance to make up, and it's hard to imagine with the way Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace's crew works in the pits that he could beat them enough in the pits to make up that difference.
Here's the on-track interval, laps 67 through 71. was a 14.2-second interval, and it shrunk to 10.